This case isn't one you see on camera ever. This is a case full of our real special stuff that we didn't have room behind us with. This is where all of our gaming happens and all of our collecting happens. And we're gonna take you through it with us. Y'all know this wall, right? So we're gonna walk backwards here and you can see what's going on. Hey everyone, I'm Dan.
I'm Elisa.
And this is our JRPG Life.
And welcome to our 2022 Game Room Tour. We're gonna go through each of the systems that we've collected for and point out a few cool things, but we're gonna go through this as fast as we can. So if you want to see something more in depth later in another video, comment down below.
Yes, we have over 2,700 games spanning across over 40 different consoles, and we've acquired them over the past 4 years mostly. A couple of it's from our childhood, but generally it's paid for itself through yard selling and offer-up trades and the stuff you know us by. So we'll go through those as we get to them, but we're also going to show you the most expensive game on every single one of our systems.
And the cheapest game.
Because why not? Take a bet, how many of them are sports? Stay tuned. So first, a quick overview. This is one wall, right? One big wall of video games. This is our special edition, like, themed shelves. We got some smaller console collections, 3DS. We have a mix of some fancy shelves. This is like a Final Fantasy themed with Yojimbo, some Chrono Trigger stuff. A lot of our music boxes. These are awesome, by the way. Lisa's awesome pink shelf, and going over to NES, some more PlayStation, all the way up to DS along the top, and then down more PlayStation 2, Wii U, more PlayStation Vita, PSP, PS1 up here, more DS, and then here is a closed shelf that doesn't look nice, but we do have some strategy guides in there. On the top, we actually have a lot of special editions. So these are game soundtracks. You've seen us pick those up a lot. World of Final Fantasy, Dark Crystal, like mixed of CIB consoles and special edition games because a lot of them are the same size. Special edition art books, like the Two Tales of Zilla specials are nice. These are newer, big box stuff that doesn't fit anywhere but the top of a shelf. More consoles, complete in box, super clean action set we love. Picked that up at a yard sale for, I don't know, $100, but it also came with a bunch of other stuff. And then Virtual Boy, you guys saw us pick that up. Some gaming soundtracks, DVD player for entertainment, God of War. That was our go-to PS4 Pro console. These are all of our mini consoles. Super happy to have the TurboGrafx Mini, Genesis, NES Classic, SNES, and the PlayStation. This is an automaton, great Japanese instrument. If you haven't heard it played, it's awesome. Ni no Kuni Special Edition from Japan. This is the DS version of Ni no Kuni. The big box Shin Megami Tensei 5 and the big box Persona 5.
So starting off, we're going to talk about our PlayStation 1 collection. Now, when Daniel and I got together, we had a lot of duplicates of all the Final Fantasy titles. However, I brought to the table some unique RPGs. Some of the RPGs that I brought from my collection from my childhood, or I got older and bought things on my own, was Brave Fencer Musashi, the Lunar 1 and 2, Legend of Mana, and a bunch of other ones. But once we got together, we collected some more. Our PlayStation 1 collection currently has 118 games. The most expensive game being Tail Concerto, which is $423. And our least expensive game is Pro Pinball, which is just under $5 right now.
So next is our PSP collection. We have about 151 games on the console. Almost all of them are complete in box except for some of those that came with the console, like the little Daxter and those kind of things. But our most expensive non-special edition game would be Hexiforce. We actually picked this one up for like $30 a couple years ago in a regular game shop because it wasn't worth that much back then. But now it's worth $180 CIB on Price Chart. Our least expensive game is Archer McLean's Mercury Meltdown Collection. That one's worth just about $4.
So our Nintendo DS collection is all the way up here, out of my reach. So we have 171 DS games. Our most expensive being Little Red Riding Hood, Zombie Barbecue, fleet. We got this on the Game On Expo. It was one of our first purchases, and we got it for right around $100, but we also bundle a couple of other cheap games with it. It's currently going for $234. Our least expensive game is Brain Age. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this. I'm not sure whose copy this is, but we each had one, and it's going for around $4.
Next up is our PlayStation Vita collection. So if you haven't seen our video that we made specifically for our Vita collection, check the links in the bottom of the video description. You'll find the link to that. We went through every single thing we have for the most part by section. But as an overview, we have the complete North American retail collection of Vita games. All CIB, and some limited run and other releases that we wanted, but we don't have the entire complete all 1,200 games of Vita. So we currently have 261 games. Amongst them, the most expensive that's not a limited release is Frozen Twilight. This one actually is going for currently about $270 price starting. So we got this one in a local trade. We accidentally bought an extra of Trails of Cold Steel 3 limited edition box. So we traded him for this and a lot of other Vita games for that new box, and it was a great trade up for us because it ended up being worth like $300 in trade. So we got that one, and then our least expensive game on the system is, surprise, it's a sports game. It's FIFA Soccer. This one's worth about $8, which is a lot for a sports game, but that's how the Vita goes.
Our PS2 collection is clocking in around 196 games. Our two most expensive games are kind of neck and neck right now. So we have Haunting Ground, which is going for about $365, and we have a local collector that sold this to us for a really great price. And then Doc Hat Quarantine. This one's kind of a cool story. We were early in our collecting stage, and we found a sealed Lego set, and we traded it into a local game store and got this. So it was around this time, it was about $120, and now it's about $350. And then our least expensive game is Pinball Hall of Fame, another pinball game. This one's going around $4.
So next up is our PlayStation 3 collection. We currently have 141 games. The most expensive PlayStation 3 game we have that's not a special edition would be Class of Heroes 2G. So this is actually a sealed copy. We don't usually buy sealed copies, but when we bought this one, it was $80, I believe. This one currently is worth $176. We bought it off of trades through a local game store. And then our least expensive game is actually one from my original personal collection, one of the best Borderlands ever made, Borderlands 2. It's worth $4. Still a great game though.
Our PlayStation 4 collection is 131 games right now, and our most expensive game is Blue Reflection. We picked this up online because we can't find it anywhere. And it's currently valued at $182. Our least expensive PS4 game is Destiny. It's probably no surprise. We've had this since we bought our first PlayStation 4, and it's going for around $4. Our GameCube collection is 64 games, and our most valuable game is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. We picked this up again from one of our local collectors that's parting out his collection. He wanted to make sure it went to a good home, and it's a strategy RPG, so it definitely has a good home here. And then our least expensive GameCube game is Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06. It's worth about $9. But Daniel loves golf, so it has a good home here too. Our Wii U collection is 54 games, and our most expensive game is Game & Wario. We picked it up for $10 on OfferUp. It's currently going for about $100 right now. And then our least expensive Wii U game is Your Shape Fitness Evolved. Yay! Our Wii collection is 108 games, and our most expensive game being Metroid Prime Trilogy. This has the slipcover on it. We picked this up at a local GameStop for $35. I saw this on the shelf and I had like the spidey sense tingling, like this is gonna be a good pickup one day. And it's currently valued at $134. And then our least expensive game is Rayman Raving Rabbids. We most likely picked this up at a garage sale. I think it's worth like $4.
Hey there, I'm down here with our Xbox 360 collection. It's way down at the bottom, if you can't tell. We have a total of 134 games on the console. Our most expensive is Tales of Vesperia, sealed Steelbook edition. Again, we're not really sealed collectors, but we got this actually at the Toy-Con last year, locally, for a decent price from Retro Boomin. Shout out to Retro Boomin at his booth. This one's currently worth about $110. And our cheapest game, this is going to be a big surprise because no one ever sees this one in the wild, Connect Adventures. This one's going for about $2, and that's really being generous, to be honest. But we actually have one more set of 360 games that are pretty sweet that we're going to show off in a minute here. So my favorite part of our 360 collection is we actually have every single Halo game and their special editions, so check this out. These are all my original copies of Halo, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach. We have all the original Halos on Xbox, original Xbox as well. But we have limited edition for Halo Wars, the Halo 3 limited edition, the Halo 4 limited edition. This is not very common. And then this one, super not very common, the Halo Reach. This is the, I think it's like the Legendary Edition, but actually acquired these from a good friend of mine who was getting rid of his collection and he wanted to go to a better home. So now we have the sweetest part of the Halo series in our collection.
All the way up here is our box Game Boy Advance games. We have 35 that are complete. Our most expensive Game Boy Advance game is Pokemon Fire Red. We got this locally on OfferUp with a killer bundle for $180 for everything, including 2 Game Boy Advance AGS 101s and this game, and also Pokemon Leaf Green and a few other nice box games. This game is currently going for $314. And our least expensive complete Game Boy Advance game is this one called Battle B Daemon Fire Spirits. Interesting enough, it's an Atlas title, so in theory it should go up in value, but it's only worth $12, so it must be pretty terrible. We have a small Game Boy Colored complete in box collection. This one's the most expensive one, Pokemon Gold, and it's worth $160. This one, we obtained the box from a friend. We traded an Xbox original for this box, and then the game inside of it is my original copy.
So this is our 3DS collection. It's one of our prize collections. We're trying to complete the North American set. There's over 400 games on it. We're currently at 325. Most expensive being Yokai Watch, sitting just over $100. Yokai Watch 3. We picked this up in a local deal for $50, and then that was a long time ago. Very late release game, and there aren't a lot of these out there. Our least expensive one would be Steel Diver. It's $4. Everybody sees these all the time. There's a lot of really cool things on this system. So for instance, the Etrian Odysseys, they came out on here, and we picked them all up right when they came out at like Best Buy. There's Untold, The Fafnir Night, and 4 really great first-person RPGs. And actually there's 5 on the shelf as well. Some other neat ones that we had to piece together over time. We did a video with Dallas and Hannah where we went up to Flagstaff. We got Kid Icarus Uprising, and amongst this is actually the stand that we found at Bookman's that goes in that. But complete in box otherwise. So now that one's complete thanks to a long time piecing together. Some other neat ones on a different shelf, but I'll still show you. One of the most expensive games on the console is Persona Q2. Elisa picked this up right when it came out, pre-ordered it. Persona's a big deal, and picked this up for the retail value at the time, 50, 60 bucks, something like that. Now it's 190 bucks. We actually have one more that's more expensive than this. That's going to be on our special shelf that we'll show you at the end. This is still sealed. It is one of the last 3 games ever released on the console. It actually might be the last one released on 3DS physically. So this is a mixed shelf of a lot of different things we couldn't find another place for, right? Like the Lunar Puppet. This is our Vectrex collection. We actually have a decent Vectrex collection, Elisa's original Vectrex we have in our possession from her childhood from Germany, a long time ago. Our Vectrex collection is currently sitting at 16 of the games. Most expensive being Animaction, that one's worth like 77 bucks. We're going for, casually, a Neo Geo Pocket Color collection, and we're about halfway there. We have about 35 games on the console. One of our favorites is Biomotor Unitron. Great RPG on the console. Neat little package to put it in. 3DO, we have some 3DO games. We have the 3DO system. They're alright. It's an okay system. Down lower, we actually have just a few Virtual Boy games, not a lot. A few aftermarket Game Boy Color games. The ones that they print, like Grandia Parallel Trippers, Magical Chase, Last Bible 2, Resident Evil. Really neat to get those. If you haven't tried out the Resident Evil version for Game Boy Color, check that out. We have a very small Sega CD collection. Wing Commander, Sylphid, nothing special, like the Monkey Island from Limited Run. That's a classic. Sega Saturn, also a very small collection, but as you all know, if you haven't seen our video, we actually picked this up for free through trading and reselling and all that. Magic Knight Rare, it's the most expensive game in our collection, currently worth about 900 bucks. Very small Master System collection. We don't really collect a lot for it. We just picked up one big collection that had the console, and now we have some games. So this is actually our special Zelda shelf that we put a lot of our big expensive stuff on and make it look nice. So I'm going to do this with both cameras for fun. We actually have Wind Waker HD, both the limited edition N64 carts. We have the Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, all the big stuff. Complete in box for NES of the Zelda and Adventures of Link. All of the DS games complete in box. The 4 Swords, and we're missing a few boxes for like the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, or Game Boy Color and Game Boy games, but it's pretty cool. Of course, the Game & Watch, Majora's Mask system, the 2DS system, and then this one we picked up at that DI for 20 bucks. Super clean. Just a lot of neat little Zelda stuff, all for showcase.
We're going to go over my special shelves. These are both Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. So up close and personal, we have the Vita Solid Gold. We have some special editions for 3DS. We have Jack Raiho in the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2 box. That one's still sealed. Haven't gotten around to playing it. These are my PSP, Persona, and Persona 2 games. I picked these up around the time of the release of these for super cheap at GameStop. These are all kind of the more standard editions. There's still some special editions in here. We have the Shin Megami Persona collection. Here's the other Persona portable game. Got that around the time of the launch at GameStop. Some of the special edition manuals we picked up at Bookman's in Tucson. Here's our Persona 1 and 2 on PlayStation. If you haven't seen our Dirty Persona, links down below. There's the 3DS collection. There's the little Game Boy game that Morgana's holding on to for me. It's Persona Revelations. There's another Jack Raiho. We got some cards and the amiibo. This is a combination shelf for me. It's Dragon Quest and Yokai Watch. We need more bookcases. So over here we have a Slime Knight. He was brought to me by a friend that went to Japan. There's a Dragon Quest 8 character. His name's Yangus. And then we have all of the DS and 3DS Dragon Quest and related spin-offs and some little gachapons. Here's our Dragon Warrior 3 for Game Boy Color, and Snarf is on a stack of some of our other Game Boy games. Dragon Warrior Terra's Adventure, Dragon Warrior Monsters, Dragon Warrior 1 and 2. And we have Angelo here. And then for Yokai Watch, we have a pretty sweet case. We have some figures. We have Wiglin in the back. And then these 3 Yokai Watch games, pretty expensive. We already talked about Yokai Watch 3, but these ones, Yokai Watch White Dog Squad and Yokai Watch Blaster's Red Cat Corpse, pretty up there, hard to find.
So this is our Dreamcast collection. We're casually going for complete on this one as well, little by little. Probably not complete, we're just going to get all the stuff we want, but we're at 67 games. Currently our most expensive one is a sealed copy of Illbleed. This one's currently at about $350. We bought this from our local collector friend. He gave us a great deal on it, because honestly we're just going to open it and play it anyways. Our least expensive Dreamcast game, surprise surprise, it's NFL 2K. This one's worth about $3. We also have a couple oddball ones. For instance, we have Arm 7 from Josh Productions and FX Unit Yuki. Some of the ones that aren't mainstream releases, but great games nonetheless. We wanted to add and play. Complete in box Dreamcast mouse. It's kind of nice. So next down is our Genesis collection. Currently, we only have about 36 games. We have some bangers that we love though. Our most expensive one is a complete in box Splatterhouse 3. This one's going for about $280 right now. We got this from our local collector friend for a good deal. We also have our Game Gear collection here. Not a lot of games, but the most expensive one is actually the one I'm most fond of from my childhood, and that would be Crystal Warriors. On Game Gear, we currently have 14 games. Shout out to Sega 32X. We have 2 games. That would be Doom and Star Wars. Those are Star Wars Arcade. They're both complete in box. So next is our original Xbox collection. We only have 45 games on it. The most expensive being Obscure. I think we actually picked this one up at 1UP Games for a good price a long time ago. We also have the one that everybody knows is up there in value and fun. Not that one. Stubbs the Zombie, Rebel Without a Pulse. Interesting game. Obscure is currently worth about $124. And lastly, this is our Xbox One collection. We don't buy a lot of Xbox One games. The only ones, honestly, that we bought on release were Cyberpunk 2077. Please play this game if you haven't yet. It's very, very good. And then Ori Will o' the Wisps. It's still sealed. I played the first one. We didn't play the second one yet. All the rest of these were pretty much yard sale pickups for cheap or basically free. Currently, we have 41 Xbox One games. And our most expensive would be Little Nightmares Complete Edition. It's only worth $38, but it's sealed. And yeah, they're not worth a lot. Probably because Game Pass exists, and that's a much cheaper way of just playing all these. Still a great console. So this is our complete in box Nintendo and Super Nintendo collection. It's not a lot, but we do have some bangers in them. So in Nintendo, our most expensive one's actually on another shelf, and it is the original Legend of Zelda. But for SNES, the most expensive one on the shelf that is complete is the Super Mario RPG. We actually pieced this one together from a local deal, and the box isn't perfect. We got the game somewhere else and upgraded things as we go, so hopefully we'll come across a better copy someday. This one is currently worth about $400. That's crazy. So these are our loose Nintendo games. Not a lot. I collected a lot of these as a kid, and some of these are actually from my childhood collection. But we have a total of 51 Nintendo games. Like I said before, Legend of Zelda was the most expensive one, but some of the other bangers in here, this one's kind of neat. This is the Final Fantasy VII 8-bit remake, and then the Darkwing Duck, one of my favorite childhood cartoons. That one's getting up there in value. That one's up to like 70 bucks.
Here's our Switch collection. We have some limited run titles in here and regular releases. This is probably becoming one of our most favorite systems of all time. Our collection is totaling at 178 games. The most expensive game being Celeste from Limited Run. It's running $178 and it's still sealed, so we'll have to crack that open someday. Currently, our least expensive Switch game is Sushi Strikers. It's going for about 10 bucks.
Currently have 22 Super Famicom games, our most expensive being Star Ocean, complete in box. We love our RPGs, so that one's really nice to have. But we have some really weird ones in there, and you know, they're not really worth a lot, but you know, like Bahamut Lagoon, Albert Odyssey 1 and 2, Chrono Trigger, just the stuff you'd expect to see in an RPG fan's Super Famicom collection. A couple other little hidden things in our collection. We have some Japanese PlayStation 1 games. This was actually our wedding invitations. Looks like a familiar game. This is a photo of us back in high school. Check that out. Aww. We've known each other since high school. Look at that nerd. Elisa's there too. So this is our small but mighty PS5 collection. We won't go over values since they're changing pretty regularly since it's new. And then in addition to those, these are the two that we're currently playing through. Love these games. But that's all we have for now. They're going to continue to come out with them and we'll keep playing them. This is actually our retro gaming station. We do a lot of testing here along with gaming when we don't want to use the big TV. So we have like the SNES Junior, we got a Grape N64. This is our region-free Saturn, actually has a Japan and English switch. And then our Dreamcast with a nice little Vizio TV, and then Frieza poking his head out from the side. So a lot of people do a game room tour, but we don't really have a game room. This is what we have. Y'all know this wall, right? So we're gonna walk backwards here and you can see what's going on. And then we have a little scene angle of our retro station. And if you come around here, it's a hallway, stairs. This is something a lot of people don't see as our special case, which we'll go over in a bit. And then we have our main TV. So this is our living room. And it's a great room. This is where all of our gaming happens and all of our collecting happens. So down here in our gaming section, this is our main living room where we actually play all of our games. We have our VR setup. That's the PS3, the Retron 5, the PS4 Pro, Laserdisc player, PS5, the Xbox Series. We have the Switch right here. The OLED, of course, with a lot of controllers. This is basically where we do most of our gaming. We have a bunch of extra controllers and cables. The flip grip for those awesome pinball games on the Switch. This thing is great. Moving along, we have our handheld consoles. These are just our daily drivers. So like Elisa's daily driver 3DS. We got her Vita, my Vita, our modded SP101s, our PSPs, all those kind of things. My 3DS, those are all in there along with their charging cables. And then here we have a little bit of a surprise. This is where we keep our loose games. So these are our Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Obviously, we have a lot of those loose. We only prioritize getting them in box if we find them for cheap, or if they're games we really, really want complete in box. We have a pretty large Game Boy Advance collection. And these are all here, alphabetized. It's not very easy to go through these and find the game you want, but they're alphabetized. And then for N64, we didn't put our stickers on the top of them yet, but we have a decent amount of those loose. And then of course our loose SNES games with some of the big ones up front, like Soul Blazer. This Earthbound I bought at a Bookman's in Tucson about 15 years ago. It was like 30 bucks. And now it's our most expensive SNES game, even though it's loose. Chrono Trigger we got recently from brother, Lisa's brother, Robotrek. We got some repros here, like the Sailor Moon RPG. In fact, we have some really cool repros that make it easier to play. Even though we have the Retron, it's nice to have some of these that are remade, like Terranigma. English translation. We have the Bahamut Lagoon. If I get this back in. Bahamut Lagoon, Tales of Fantasia, Star Ocean. Just some really, really good bangers. Final Fantasy II, Breath of Fire, Lufia 2. Just Lots and lots of RPGs. This is the RPG console for sure. This case isn't one you see on camera ever. So sorry about the glare, but this is a case full of our real special stuff that we didn't have room behind us with. And boy, there's some really sweet things in here. So we're gonna go through them one by one, but give you a quick scope here. There's a lot going on in here. This is our handheld collection at the bottom. So we have a lot of Game & Watches we've been getting recently. A lot of our CIB Game Boy Advances. In the back there we have the 2DSs and some 3DS, new 3DSs. They're Nintendo Switch Lite Pokemon editions. This is not our complete hardware collection, but these are the cool inbox ones. We're gonna make a video in the future of our hardware collection. We have a lot of gaming consoles, especially 2DS consoles. In fact, this door here, there are a lot behind there. We just didn't display them because there's no room for them. This is pretty full as it is. Here we have our Ys collection. We have every single Ys released. I mean, some of these came out on multiple systems, but at least we have one of all of them. Japan exclusive CIB PSP. We have the Nomad with the battery pack. All of the Tales games released, some of them in bigger boxes than others. That's the Zestria and Symphonia Chronicles, PSP Go, a bunch of Vita CIBs, Neo Geo Pocket, the original black and white one, complete. We picked this up in Japan, this Mother 3. Looks like it was 6,279 yen back when we got it in our first trip, way back when.
Shelves basically are a big box shelf, except that are, you know, too tall and have to be displayed on top of the bookcases. But we have Langrisser 1 and 2, this is for the Switch. We have Wild Arms 5, which is supposed to be really good. And we have some Trails of Cold Steel. We have 1, 2, 3, and 5 over here. Not sure where 4 is. And then we have Lunar for the PSP, Odin Sphere, we have some Arts and Nellico, and the majority of our big Vita special editions. We have a complete Senmar Kagura collection, and I wanted to point out this little clock down here. This was received when Chrono Cross was pre-ordered. Thank you, Dad. Up here is our Final Fantasy shelf. This has our complete in box games in here, as well as special editions. Collector CD. There's a shirt that goes along with it. Wonder Swan. PC Final Fantasy VII. And we have Type 0. Some sweet Final Fantasy VIII figures. And a Moogle. Some Super Famicom complete in box. Super Nintendo GBA. And we have this sweet Cloud Strife on his motorcycle. This came in the first class edition for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Daniel has a watch of Final Fantasy VIII. We have a DSi special edition for Final Fantasy Echoes of Time. And then his Final Fantasy X PS Vita complete in box. And we have a phone case.
So the top shelf of this has a mix of everything, right? Otomedia's excellent, the Atui collection, Toki. There's the Mary Skelter big boxes that they just recently released. We have all the Mary Skelters, thank goodness, because they're not making a lot of those anymore. A lot of the 3DS big boxes. This is actually our most valuable 3DS game. This is the Fire Emblem Fate Special Edition. This is sealed. There's a little bit of wear on it, but it's like $300 to $400, and it's varying pretty regularly in price. Some double box Pokemons, Tales of Destiny. This is the PlayStation 2 version of Tales of Destiny, which was released in Japan. Theater Rhythm, Kingdom Hearts, some more big box 3DS games, more Pokemon. Nights into Dreams, you guys saw us pick this up in a recent video. And over here we have more Cul-de-Sac Revolt, that's the Aladdin Lion King special, more 3DS games. Curse of the Moon 2, we got that one, thank goodness, because that one went quick. This one is that Genso Rondo? No, Caligula Effect, Oculus Strip, Poison Control, more Pokemon double box. There's Genso Rondo. More double Pokemon. Etrian Odysseys. Just a big mix of things. We try to get all the big box RPG or just ones we want on Switch, and we put them in here and display them and open them at some point once we get to them. So if you couldn't tell before, this is actually a Harmony Kingdom display case. We picked this whole case up for 40 bucks on OfferUp. One of these days we might put something over that, but for now it's kind of nice to see the nostalgia of what it used to be at one point. These were the little boxes from Hallmark. There were little figures, and it's kind of neat. On top we have some collectibles. We have a Thundercats Tower of Omens, which is pretty cool. Those Resident Evil figures that are complete and carded, those are awesome. Some random Final Fantasy. These are empty. These are display boxes. We picked up at a local game store for cheap when she sold them to us. This one, Final Fantasy IV. Love this one. Super clean, loot, just empty. And then that's Elisa's original Vectrex, complete in box from her childhood. Works great. Box could be in better condition, but it's traveled across the ocean, so we'll give it that. So thank you so much for joining us for our 2022 collection tour. It was fun making it. Love taking you with us. If there's something that you'd like to see that's more in depth in our collection, comment below, and we'll see what we can do. Until then, remember, the couple that collects video games together stays together. Take care. We'll see you next time.